Okay, so this is one of those videos that I feel like might be kind of personal, but also really simple at the same time. I didn't really want to come on here and be dramatic and have some sort of dramatic story like my life was a mess before, because it really wasn't. It was fine, and I think that's part of the problem. I feel like that's relatable. I feel like a lot of us aren't living bad lives at all. If we step back and take a look at our lives, they're not bad. We're just living lives that feel constantly noisy. And I wanted to just kind of talk about how I realized that and what I did to change that. If you're new here, hi, I'm Amanda, and this channel has always really been about simple and intentional living. Just kind of, there's the decluttering and the minimalism side of it, but ultimately just learning how to slow down and create a life that feels good from the inside, not just looks good from the outside. And this video is basically the foundation for all of that. So for a long time, I would say that my days felt really full, but not in like a satisfying way. Like they were full, but at the end of the day, I didn't feel like it was a very satisfying day. It's not that my days were boring. Like I had stuff to do, I had things to take care of, projects on the go, work to get done around the house, kids to take care of, places to be. Like there was always something to do. It wasn't boring, it was full, but it just didn't satisfy something in me. And even when I did have free time, like with 4 little kids, getting free time, it doesn't come by often. And when I did get it, it didn't feel like free time because I would do something that I thought was restful, but in reality, I'm thinking about all the things that I could be doing or that I should be doing. And then ultimately my space reflected that. The clutter everywhere, the drawers full of things that I've been meaning to get rid of, but I've been keeping them because I might need them someday. That just, whatever was going on inside me, mentally, internally, all of that noise was reflected in my personal space. And then I bought into this idea that if I'm overwhelmed, I simply just have to figure out a way to optimize something. Clearly, I need a better routine, or my home systems aren't working. I need a better system, a cleaning system, whatever it might be. I need to be more disciplined. Clearly I'm not disciplined enough to stay on top of things, and that's why I'm falling apart. So I tried those things. I tried setting up a morning routine type of schedule, structuring my day a little more rigidly. I tried those things. And yet somehow, these things that were supposed to help the overwhelm made my life and my days feel even louder and noisier. Here I am thinking I'm doing all the right things, and yet it doesn't feel good. Something didn't feel right. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that this light bulb moment happened and this shift kind of happened overnight. It was more of a quiet, subtle realization as the days, weeks, months went on that kept coming back to me that was I don't want all this stuff. It was I just want less. I just don't want this much in my life. I don't want constant notifications for everything and anything on my phone. I don't want a house full of stuff that I don't use on a daily basis. I don't want a calendar that when I look at it is full with stuff to do all the time. There's no blank space. I didn't want that. I don't know if I thought those things were somehow impressive to people. Oh, look how busy I am. Look how full my schedule is, and look at all this stuff I have in my home. I don't know really if I was trying to impress people, but I realized I just got to this point where I didn't want to be impressive. I just wanted to be present, and trying to be impressive, if that's what I was doing, took me away from being present. And once I admitted that to myself, that's where I feel like things really started to change. Now, when I talk about simple living, I'm not speaking in extremes. There are definitely extreme measures you can take. You can do some ruthless decluttering, which I highly encourage because there's a lot of benefit to that. But I think it's the small little things that really add up over time that make the biggest impact in living a more simple life. And depending the season of life that you're in, if you're a mother too with young children, you might not have all the time in the world to tackle big projects like decluttering your whole house in a weekend and things like that. So you might only be able to start small with just your closet or a drawer in the kitchen. And that feels frustrating sometimes, but it is very satisfactory to get a little bit done and fully done and feel accomplished. And those little things add up over time. They don't seem like much in the moment, but as the days and weeks go on, that makes a huge difference. Just start asking yourself on a day-to-day, these little gentle questions, do I really need this? Do I use this? Am I keeping it just in case I think I might need it? Does this actually make my life easier? Or is it just adding to the fullness and the noise? And it's not just the physical stuff, like I was talking about the calendar, like it's your time too. I started to be really selective with my time. Like if we got invited to go somewhere, we don't have to say yes every single time we get asked to go and do something. Sometimes sure, but saying no and leaving space to just be at home as a family is very underrated. Another thing I stopped doing was rushing the mornings. Not that I ever really rushed like a crazy person to begin with, but our mornings were definitely more rushed in the past than they are now. And I think the fact that we now homeschool plays into that quite a bit, because we can kind of really slow our mornings down and take things at our own pace. But that really sets the tone for the whole day. Having a slow morning, there is absolutely nothing like it. And that has been such a game changer in just living our days with more intention. Another thing I would say is that I stopped doing, or that I'm still kind of working on, is to not multitask so much. If I'm standing at the stove cooking something, I don't need to also be listening to something or checking emails or doing other things just because I feel like I can. It takes away from being in the moment and doing what I'm doing well. So I've started to really cut back on the multitasking, which is hard for me to do, and just focus on one thing at a time. And all of these little changes didn't make my life feel smaller in any way. They actually added like abundance to my life. They made it feel bigger. But I would say that the biggest change so far hasn't been in my home, but rather inside of me, like in my head. Because the changes in the home, less clutter and more space, has such a positive impact inside your mind. It just, you sit down and you're not looking at all of the things that you could be doing or should be doing, or the mess that needs to be taken care of, and all of this stuff that you need to get to. There's just like a weight lifted, there's less pressure on you, and less guilt for actually resting. You can actually take a break and enjoy a coffee in the afternoon without drinking it cold while you're running around doing a million other things. If you're watching this and you're thinking, well, this sounds great, but like, where do I actually start? Or you're thinking, you know, I don't know, it does sound great, but my life just seems way too messy for this. I just want to encourage you and say that you're not behind at all. You don't need to declutter your entire house. You don't need the perfect routine. You don't need to change everything at once. That's probably actually a bad idea. Sometimes, and I think I learned this the hard way, the most intentional thing you can do is to slow down, take a breath, and actually assess what's going on in your life. What is actually weighing you down? Because sometimes we think it's one thing and we start trying to find solutions for that, but it's something else entirely. So taking some intentional time to slow down and figure out what that is can be so beneficial. And I hope that this channel can be a space for that, for slowing down, for choosing less every day without the guilt of it, for ultimately creating a life that just feels calm and meaningful and aligned, even if that looks very ordinary or very different than what everyone else's life looks like. All that to say, I'm so glad you're here. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I hope that you subscribe and stick around for more. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next video.